He has a brain like no other. A memory that has stunned millions. A mental wonder. It all started back in 1990 when he correctly predicted the Pennsylvania lottery. Now, the holy grail of neuroscience, Jim Carroll is your mentor to limitless mental energy. Get ready to learn his secrets to superpower your mind. It's Jimmy the Brain.
So, a special treat. One of my dearest friends, Elaine Rogers, President and CEO of USO. How the heck are you doing, Elaine? My gosh, it's been since March, early March, since I seen you.
I know you were like the last person practically I saw before I went into hiding. And I miss you so much. I wish we were doing this live,
We will, trust me. In the next couple of months, we're going to be doing a lot of these things live, on location and everything else. For now, we got to do this technology stuff, which neither one of us are into. Thank God for these young people that you hire and bring them aboard, or else, my God, I don't know what I'd do. So,
yeah.
But what have you been up to? My gosh, it's been a while. It's good to see you. Jeez, I really miss you. I miss you so much.
Well, thank you, because we were just getting ready to do do even more with you. And as you know, the last night we were together was at our big USO annual awards dinner, where we honored all of the special operations folks, and we had the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and the Secretary of Defense, and it was an amazing amazing evening. And then literally 2 days later, the world kind of fell apart.
Tell me about it. And the night before, we were at the chairman's home. That was a blast. Terry Bradshaw, Gronkowski. I saw him. Elaine is the person that is responsible for me being involved with the military. I mean, it started, I don't even remember how many years ago, Elaine, with Montel, when I used to come down there and do my little card tricks for the Wounded Warriors and things like that. And then I met you, and then we thought there's maybe something more here, and not knowing it would ever turn into this. I mean, I've been around the world a bunch of times because of you with the USO, and man, I just can't thank you enough. And you just opened my eyes. I mean, I was a college entertainer all my life, and now I'm a military performer, performing on military bases around the world. This is awesome. So, and I owe it all to you. It's amazing what you did for my career.
Oh, Jim, no, we thank you for all that you've helped us do for our wounded, ill, and injured, and their families, I might add. But what people might not know in this whole thing is that this Jim and I met. Oh my goodness, it was
seemed like another life. It
was, yeah, but close to 20 years ago, believe it or not. But the war was really we were going through such tough times. We had hundreds of wounded, ill, and injured at Walter Reed Hospital, at Bethesda Military Hospital, both military hospitals, and then Fort Belvoir, their military hospital. And we have people with many different scenarios going on, whether it was PTS or whatever, TBI, all of those, right, all of those kind of scenarios. And so we brought Jim in because we're like, okay, we have all these great programs, but we want to see how we can take it forward from just like the entertainment and the card tricks. And Jim, here, I will never, ever, ever, ever forget this. When bingo, you started doing the card tricks, and we had people who weren't even paying attention. You have to realize some of these people, I mean, the injuries our military sustained in Afghanistan and Iraq, I mean, it was horrendous. And you were able to get their attention and get their brain paying attention. And then we went from there. I will never forget when you taught one of our injured service members who was blind.
Oh, I remember. Right? Yeah.
You got him up in front of an audience of thousands at a USO event and taught him how to do things that I was like, oh my gosh, it was incredible.
Out in Las Vegas. He's reading everybody's minds, and people didn't believe he was blind. That's how believable it was. I remember that. That was so awesome seeing him. Yeah, I just love this. I mean, you just changed my world. I mean, I didn't know this stuff. I remember my wife, about 20 years ago or whatever. She's seen Oprah down at the USO, and she goes, wow, that's what you should be doing. And how coincidental was that all of a sudden I started doing it. It's just amazing. It was almost like it was meant to be, that this relationship between yourself and myself. It's amazing. But tell everybody, like the USO, like what do they do? I mean, you've been around. I mean, when did you start? Like 1980? So what? I don't want to like offend you, but you were around when Bob Hope was around. Jeez, you've been the president forever. Jeez.
I'm the old broad on this podcast, so you probably won't have anybody older than I am.
Jeez.
But you're right, Jim, and you and I have talked about this so many times. But literally, I started as president of my USO in 1976. So
Whoa!
I think, yes, 1976.
You don't look anywhere near. Jeez.
Thank you.
That's awesome. And your energy is like that of a 30-year-old. It's amazing. I thought I had a lot of energy because that's what I live for, the energy. You know, I'm all about energy, energize. And you're when I watch you at your events, when you're hosting your events with, whether it's with Jon Stewart or Gronkowski or Terry Bradshaw, you're like a ball of energy. Where does it come from? That's just amazing. It's just you are the most amazing person. I am so honored that you're with me here today. This is so awesome. So tell everybody about the USO. I'm sorry to interrupt, but you're just so wow.
I go back to, when I first started with the USO, it was when the military were going from, it was the draft. I mean, people were drafted into the military, and then we went into the all volunteer force. So before, there was a great Navy saying, and they would say, listen, if we wanted you to have a wife, we'd have packed her in your sea bags. Now I'm going back 40, almost 45 years ago, right? So then the military changed, and all of a sudden we had families coming in. The changes were amazing to watch. But I go back to something that you and I have talked about for years, because I truly do go back to working with Bob Hope. And when the USO was founded in 1941, really, we're coming up on our 80th birthday next year. You're going to be there.
Wow.
So, Bob Hope to me was just, I watched him as I was growing up, and now I'm working with him, with Clint Eastwood, with John Wayne, with Jimmy Stewart, people like that. There's a wonderful old story that actually Jimmy Stewart told me, and I was so honored when I met him, but he was over in Vietnam doing a USO handshake tour like you have done in Afghanistan, Iraq, all over the world. And he had an afternoon off, and he said, listen, is there any way that you could get me up to, I don't remember what provinces it was, but his son was serving up there. So the USO in the afternoon took him up to see his son. And then he came back, he finished up his USO tour, goes home. And what he said to me is, I love the USO, because 2 weeks later, 2 weeks or however long, maybe it was a month, his son was killed in action.
Oh,
and so that was his last opportunity to be with his son. But, being with Bob Hope and watching him over the years, and this is something that you and I have talked about many times. You have gone in with me to many, many, many rooms at these military hospitals to meet and lift the spirits of our incredibly brave and wonderful, and it's just such an honor, I know, for both of us to meet our military. Every day we meet a hero. And Bob Hope said this story to Ann Margaret and Connie Stevens, actually. They said, if you think you're going to cry, you don't walk into that room, because you are there to lift the spirits. And Jim, that's who I think of you at. You're like my Bob Hope, because when you would go in the rooms, oh my goodness, when you start doing the incredible repartee of things that you are able to do, it was a game changer for many of not only the wounded warriors in the hospital, and we were seeing them 3 and 4 days after they were injured in the battlefield, but for those that we have been working with over the last 18 years.
Wow, that's so nice of you. I'll tell you what, man, what you do, I mean, words can't describe what you do, because the people that don't know Elaine Rogers, I'm going to tell you what, I know a lot of people. I don't know one person that doesn't like this lady. She is the most amazing, beloved person I've ever met in my life. I mean, everybody just loves you. I mean, what you're doing is because you're doing it for real. You're the real deal. You know what I mean? You don't do it for a paycheck. You're like the real deal. You really care about this stuff. You're like, man, you're like an angel. You really are. You're an angel to our wounded warriors. That's exactly what you are. You're their angel. And words can't describe what you're doing and what the USO-Metro does. And it's just amazing. It's just, I mean, I'm just like, wow. Oh, I don't even know how to talk with you. It's like,
stop.
I thought this was going to be like the usual talk. Hey, Elaine, what's up? Hey, it's just, but my God, hey, this is the real stuff. You're man, you are like, think about who you've met and who you've been with and what you brought to this is just amazing. And let's just hope it doesn't beef up anytime soon where we have more. We don't want that. Let's just take care of the ones we have now and hopefully don't add any more to that. But it's
Jim, what you just said, and thank you very much, that's so kind of you, but I'm like so many people who want to give back to others, and that is yourself. And the reason I think that we just got along so well in the beginning was the fact that this is a passion for us. This is not, I've grown up in the USO, but this is our passion. This is what we care about. We care. The USO is an organization. Our only mission is to serve military personnel and their families. And so many people just think about the entertainment side. People don't realize that we do art therapy and music therapy, and we help people moving around the country in the military or from overseas, or education. We have a lot of education programs to teach people, how to get a Cisco certification, things that people don't think about the USO doing. And you are especially one of our entertainers who understands and sees it, because you have been to so many of our programs, but you've gone on trips with us, and you can tell how we work a lot with military who have cancer, and our trip with them is their last family gathering. How many times do you have the honor of doing something like that? And one of our dear friends just passed away. We had our Medal of Honor recipient at our annual awards dinner who had cancer. We took to Disney World, and he just passed. But it's so sad. His family is amazing. And just to have a little tiny piece of what you and I have experienced in helping families and people in whatever their situation is, we're very lucky people.
Oh man, I agree. This is like I said, and I thank you because you brought me into this world, and I didn't, I kind of knew it existed, but to experience it and to actually go to Walter Reed, to go to Bethesda, to go to Fort Belvoir. I mean, especially going into Walter Reed the first time in there. Oh man, it's like you said before, you can't cry and you got to hold back. But wow, that was an amazing. I was hooked first time I went down there. I'm like, hey, I got to dedicate the rest of my life to this, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. But it's hey, now let me ask you a question because I am interested in this. So since this COVID started up back in March after I left the last time I seen you, like we said, I think it was like, wasn't it like right around that time is when it was starting, and we didn't really know what was going on. Like how did you guys adapt to that? Like how did you adapt to the changes of everything that took place? I wanted to ask Pauline that. And
yeah. Well, it's such a great question, because literally we were the last black tie dinner, I think, in Washington, D.C. And you were there. We went down to Quantico Marine Corps Base, and we opened our newest USO facility the day before our annual awards dinner at Quantico. We had all the Marines there, and it was, oh my gosh, it was an amazing day. Our dinner was the next day. And then literally 2 days later, it's like everything's starting to close down. And here's what's amazing to me, Jim, and I really appreciate you asking that question, because We literally, the great thing about the USO is that we can turn on a dime. It was like, bingo, okay, here's what the situation is. And we literally in 1 week changed all of our programming and went to virtual programs. But we all, I mean, like lots of them. Actually, let me tell you this one quickly. We had Rob Gronkowski, whom you know, you've been at our dinner,
awesome.
right?
Yeah.
So we had Rob, who was going to do a virtual program with us. And oh my gosh, we had people from Walter Reed on the call. We had families whose loved ones were in Afghanistan and Iraq on the phone, and they were asking all kinds of questions. You know, that's what the program was. And we got a call from his dad saying, listen, I know we're supposed to do this at 3, but can we move this back because there's a big announcement that's going on today? And we're like, yeah, sure, of course. That was the day he announced he was going with the football team in Florida.
Yeah.
But yet his first thing that he did was he did the USO podcast with us. That was the first thing he did. So it's things like that, but it's also like, do you know, of course you do, you know, you're familiar with Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Okay. We had Ethan Hawke and his brother come on, and we did a 3-day seminar on how you deal with trauma and things in your life. And I think maybe it was 4 days. And we started everybody out on, you know, like what is your favorite movie? Who would you want to play you? But we worked it through in many ways, like we do with you, through to help folks, you know, really think about what's going on deep inside and what they kind of want to get out and talk about. Incredibly successful. People don't think of the USO doing that, but we had to close down our airports. But at BWI, we have troops going in and out all of the time. So we've gotten very creative on programs and leaving things for them as they come in and out. We've done a lot with the doctors and nurses and the National Guard. We've done a lot of meal service. We've done care packages. You know, the USO is the only organization that strictly was chartered by Congress to serve the morale welfare needs of our military and the family. That's all we do. That's our only mission, as you know. And I have to tell you, I'm just so proud of the things that we've been able to step up and do, but especially for our military doctors and nurses who are, and the engineers who are going out and building these hospitals. Those are military folks or National Guard. And I'm so proud of our military and what they've done. And we're still there right beside them.
Oh, that's so amazing. So you're pretty much almost back to, well, except for maybe the centers. Like, are the centers going to open shortly, or are they open? Like, how do you do? Like, I know you have beautiful centers down there, but especially the Belvoir and the Bethesda. Like, is that open? How about the Dunkin' Donuts that I always go to Walter Reed? Like, is that stuff open, or is that closed yet, or are they open but you got to wear a mask, or what's the situation with that?
Well, we are preparing right now to open for your viewers. We have like this one center. It's 25,000 square feet at Fort Belvoir, which is right in back of the military hospital there. And at Walter Reed Bethesda, we have a 16,000 square foot USO. And then we have centers all over. But yes, we are getting ready to open. We've, you know, cleaning crews have been in there washing up. We've done the plexiglass. Our staff is, you know, we're all following what the CDC is telling us to do. But it's just so weird because you have to go into these humongous buildings. We're just starting to open, and we know we can, you know, only so many people can be there. We have today, we have our food bank program going on right now. And we have literally hundreds of cars in line right now, social distancing, who are getting packages of food, you know, handed to them while they're in their car. And we work with the food banks on there and for people that are eligible for the program. So, you know, those kinds of things we haven't really stopped, but opening the centers is going to be a big deal. And we're just doing all the right things. I'm so proud of our staff, our volunteers, our board, and that people like yourself, Jim, you have not once, we've been talking through this whole time, and you know, you're like, when can I get back? When can I get down there? I want to, you know, go visit the troops and do this and that. And so as soon as we can. We can't wait to see you.
Yeah, I know. I just got booked at. I'm supposed to be going down for a few events down at Fort Benning, but not until November. So it seems like November things are starting to open up. I wish they would open up sooner, but we'll see what happens. But I gotta ask you this though: at your event on the 9th of March, the last big event you had, the gala.
Yes. Yes.
Bradshaw and Gronkowski. We're talking about Gronkowski. He was co-hosting with Bradshaw.
Yes.
Did you know secretly about him being the tiger on the Masked Singer? Did you know that at the time, or was that like a surprise?
Well, yeah. Jim, you'll remember that the year before, Terry Bradshaw was on the Masked Singer.
Yeah.
And my staff immediately went, "That's Terry Bradshaw." As soon as he started doing his shoulders, right? They're like, "No, that's him." I said, "How can you tell that?" So they knew who he was. And I will tell you that it was, my staff was saying, "There's no question that's who it is."
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, I don't think so. I'm slow to catch on." So
I knew for sure it was him. And I was like, I wonder if that secret's going to come out at the event. And it didn't. That was amazing how they kept that a secret. That was really cool. That was really cool.
And you know that Terry Bradshaw's, he's doing a show called The Bradshaw Bunch.
Yeah.
And we filmed that. Oh my gosh, that film clip, I'll have to send it to you. We have drill instructors out there. The whole Bradshaw family is there, and they're just drilling him. And oh my God, it's pitiful.
He is so awesome. His daughters are beautiful, beautiful daughter. He's just such an awesome family. He's just such a class. I like that guy. He's like, and you have him down there for like the last 3 or 4 events I've been at. He's been there. Yeah.
Yeah. I got to know Terry, believe it or not, probably 30 years ago. He's been doing things for the military for a long, long time. And, people like Gary Sinise,
Gary, gosh, can't even say enough about that man. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome. And I think you were down when maybe not, but when we had Robin Williams. He used to come in a lot, obviously. Before.
I know Stevie Nicks. I was there when you had Stevie Nicks. I love her. Right. Yeah.
But so can I just tell you something quickly about? Yeah. I'm assuming a lot of your listeners know who Stevie Nicks is, and she would come down every month for us, and she'd stay for 3 days, and we'd spend a day at each of the hospitals. But she would come in. Do you remember the iPods?
Yeah.
You used to hook them in your ear and load up music. She would come in with hundreds of iPods, and she'd load thousands of songs on these things. And we'd go from room to room, and she'd hand them out, right? And then I would be back the next day with somebody new, and they would all be listening. And that's where I learned. She was the person who taught me how important music and art therapy is. And that's why they are so, besides the sports therapies, that's why it's part of our core programs.
Yeah, music is like, wow, for the brain health. Music is the key in what I do as well. Like when I work out, the music is what it just makes you work out more. And music is definitely therapeutical. But tell the guests about the event that I was at, where you had Stevie Nicks there, and she presented the young. God, you say it. God, I don't want. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
The young man that she helped out. Go ahead. Right. Therapeutically through music.
When she came the first time, the first or second, I don't remember which time it was, but we went into this young man's room and he was in a coma. But the parents asked us specifically, we go into the ICU units if we're asked to, but the parents said, "Would you please come in and at least see my son?" So we did. And of course he was in a coma. And every time she would come in, we'd always go in and see him, and we'd take a picture, right? And we'd give the picture to the parents. And it must have been like a year later or something. Well, no, it was longer than that, because it was one of Stevie's last visits. And we walked in the room, and he had come out of the coma. And he was staring at Stevie Nicks going, "Oh my gosh, that's Stevie Nicks." And, we showed him all the pictures, I don't know how many, dozens and dozens of pictures that we had taken each time we were in the room. So when we gave her her award, as you remember, at our annual awards dinner, we had the young man who woke up from the coma present that award to her. And right, there was not a dry eye in the room. And that young man was just, he couldn't believe it. It was
that was such an emotional night. I mean, even me, I'm a guy that don't cry. I had teary eyes. It was an amazing emotional night. That's what I'm saying. The stuff you do and the USO-Metro, what they do is just beyond. You can't even describe it in words. It's but now let's get back to Bradshaw. Now, were you a Steeler fan? I think you grew up in Harrisburg, right? Harrisburg. We're both Pennsylvania. I'm Allentown. I think you were Harrisburg, right?
I'm Harrisburg. No, he didn't. We weren't that lucky or unlucky, whichever view you've got there. But no, he didn't. And I hate to say this. I'm not a big. My husband gives me sports 101 before anything I go to that has sports related to it. And so I just know Terry is Terry, right? And then I got the education that I'm like, oh my God, you're a football player, really? And what did you do? What are those rings on you? So what I was clueless. So I've certainly learned about what an incredible career he had, and of course you were there. Oh gosh, my memory is so bad. The year that we had the kicker for the Pittsburgh. Remember he went to Vietnam, and he was in the highlight of his football. Rocky
Blyer. No, Rocky Blyer was a running back. Yeah, but he was there though. Yeah. He was there last year too. He was here in March too.
He's there every year. Yeah. And so the great story for your viewers, because this is really important. This is a young man. He was a young man in his beginning of his career, and he was evidently incredible. And but he got drafted. So he went back. He went to Vietnam for however long he was in, for 2 years or something like that. Well, while he was in Vietnam, he got injured very seriously, and it took him a long time to come back. And his foot, I mean, I think he's the kicker. I think he ended up.
I think he was a running back at his start of his career as a running back for Terry. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So at any rate, the owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers, I mean, they are an amazing family, right? And they held his slot for him coming back from Vietnam, and he practiced and got back on the team, and went to all the Super Bowls, and they won all those Super Bowls, and Rocky Blyer was there and part of that, but a Vietnam veteran. And we had Rocky present the first award we ever presented to Terry.
Yeah, I remember that year, and Rocky was there back in March, and he looks absolutely amazing for his age. He looks fantastic. Rocky looks amazing.
Yeah, he does. And so there's always that story behind the story.
Yeah.
And all these Medal of Honor recipients that you've met, right? You just go, I actually talked to them. There is no celebrity that will ever come close to being what kind of a celebrity, and not so much celebrity, but a representation of what our military does as these Medal of Honor recipients.
Yeah, it's right on. You were right on with that, Elaine. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Hey, another thing, I didn't ask you this, but I always wanted to ask you this. September 11th, like, I don't know if I knew you yet. I think I just met you. Like, how was that down there? Like September 11th. So how was, yeah.
Well, it was quite a day. We actually were going to have a board meeting that day. And so I had as you know, my main office is on Fort Myer. And for those of you who don't know, Fort Myer is where the old guard is stationed, and the Arlington Cemetery abuts right up to Fort Myer. And that's where all the horses and the caissons are. And we have lots of troops there. And then the Pentagon is literally across the street on 395. That's where the Pentagon is. So that morning, I was actually in a meeting on Fort Myer. I think there was 2 of us who were civilians in that meeting. And it was a regular meeting. We probably had 25 5 active duty military sitting in the room. And we had all seen that the one plane had gone into the first tower up in New York. And I'm sure we all thought the same thing. It's a fluke. A small plane must have flown in. So we all went into this meeting, and then we're in the middle of it, and the colonel comes in and says, the Pentagon has just been hit. And we heard, we felt that, we knew something had happened. And so we all ran out. Nobody said a word. We all ran back to our offices. And of course, I ran back to my USO office. And, of course, we knew that the Pentagon had been hit at that time. But so many people, no cell phones were working, as we all remember, those of us who were there at that time, no cell phones. The traffic was incredible. Our base was locked down, but people were flooding over into our USO there on Fort Myer. And, we were trying to figure out, what are we going to do? And so there were people that worked for some high-ranking military who had dinners that night with foreign dignitaries. And I said, there's not going to be a dinner tonight. You stay here at the USO on base. So that night, we actually had a meeting with people, and it went till midnight that night from the Pentagon, because we knew a lot of people had been killed. We didn't know how many or anything else, but we had already met with some of the fire department who had been at the Pentagon, and they had almost gotten killed. So we decided what our USO was going to do, which was we housed all of the family members, thousands and thousands of them, coming to Washington, D.C., because they didn't know if their loved one was alive or not, and funerals and all of those kinds of things. But Jim, the aftermath of that, and people don't think about this, but here this plane goes into the Pentagon. Lots of people were killed, and they brought mortuary units from like Puerto Rico and from all over the country to come in and literally go to the Pentagon and sift through everything, because they wanted to make sure this is awful to say, but no body parts of terrorists were with our military and those killed on the plane. And you have been to Arlington Cemetery with us many times. You have seen the monument in Arlington, correct?
Yeah.
Because they couldn't find all of, the DNA. Not the DNA, but it was a mass grave, like, for those. And then, all of those that they could find, all of the tombs are really literally all looking at the Pentagon from Arlington National Cemetery. But those folks were here for a year or 2 years, and we took care of them every day because they were away from their families. And so it was certainly an awful, awful time. But I saw the military in action in a way I had never before. And our military is certainly the best in the world. And taking care of each other, it was an amazing time. And we were so honored to be able to help in some small way.
Boy, that was a tragic time. I'll tell you, I remember that. And hey, thank God for our military is all I got to say. And what you're doing, what the USO, now I know, now you're involved with the last place that I was at, like we were just talking, Fort Myer. I haven't been there in the past, but now you've had me down there a couple times in the last year or two.
Yes.
That's just an amazing place. I never knew it was that close to everything. That's really close to like you said, the Pentagon to
Right.
But I guess my question I wanted to ask you was, now, what else are you involved with? Like, are you involved? I never asked you this before. Are you involved with like events that go on like at the Capitol or at the White House? Does the USO get involved with that kind of stuff, or is it just strictly military?
Well, the USO as an organization, yes, we do. We get involved with a lot of different events that, whether it's the military is doing because we're in support of what they do. We have an event which you've actually been to, and it's an event kind of honoring we call it a salute to military chefs, because one thing that's really important at the USO, a lot of hopefully a lot of your viewers know somewhat about what the USO does, but we have USOs at airports all around the world, and millions of military go in and out of the USO at airport locations, and we're like that home away from home there. We provide food and whatever that they need. TV, we have rooms, changing rooms, we have kids programs, all kinds of things. In fact, one of the programs is that we have a room set aside, and if someone is traveling overseas, like to Afghanistan or Iraq, we have the brand new kids books, and they get to choose their book, and they go into a room. It's Bob Hope's reading. We've used Bob Hope's name. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I didn't
know that.
Oh, it's so cool. Well, okay, next time we're going to set you up and you're going to do one of these readings. But it's so cool because they then read the book. We take the tape that we've made, and then we mail everything with their note back to the family members. And it's the last time that their family member has really talked to them while they're on American soil. And as tragic as this is, at one point, we had a young man who did this, and unfortunately he was killed over there. And that was the last video that they had with their father. So it was very, very touching. But, at these airport locations, we are there to handle with travel needs, whatever it is. They get stuck at an airport, and we have a facility at BWI Airport. It's a 5,000 square feet USO.
Wow. I didn't know you had that. I really
my gosh. Yeah. Jim, you have to come and see what goes on there. It is amazing. And so going back to this whole food thing, at our centers, we do healthy cooking. We do, how to cook on a budget, because we have young families, and they are literally, it's tough to get by every month. So we have an event where we actually salute a military chef from each service. And we do it because they're always the people behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
They're always in the kitchen making everybody happy, and programs and things like that. So we do a program like that where we're saluting them. The 4th of July concert, the USO is involved in that at the White House, has been for many, many, many years. So there's lots of different things that USO does.
Yeah, the Capitol cook-off. I know you had me there a few times. Yeah, that's a huge event. Talking about chefs. The one and only, my best friend that you introduced me to, Chef Robert Irvine. He's awesome. Oh my God. He's just an amazing dude. Robert Irvine. Yeah. I'm going to have to get him on here next week, I think.
Oh my gosh, you have to.
Yeah, he's the one that encouraged me to do a podcast. He said, why don't you do a podcast while you're not performing at the bases and things like that? And he encouraged me to do it. So I'm going to have to get him on here now. Yeah, I'll get him on with maybe Dominic Cruz, a UFC fighter, because Dominic said he could give me 20 minutes or so. So maybe I'll bring them both on together, because that was the tour when we went around the world. That would be a great idea.
Yeah.
Hey, Elaine.
Do your readers understand? Do your listeners understand? You got on a C-17. You've gotten on it many times. Yeah. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, a C-17 is not a comfortable airplane. Okay, it's where our troops go and they're and where tanks go on, and we transport them overseas. And then you go to all these bases, and some of them are very small places where our troops are.
Diego Garcia down on the middle of nowhere in the Indian Ocean. Yeah.
Right.
I remember that one.
So you're bringing the USO there to them, that USO touch of, that home away from home to them. And so explain, Dominic Cruz, a UFC fighter, and yourself. Well, tell everyone. You had a great.
Well, yeah. The one time I remember, the best time was with that specific one, Dominic Cruz and Chef Irvine, and we literally went around the world. We went from Washington D.C. to Hawaii to Guam to Diego Garcia to up into. Then we were on the USS George H.W. Bush. When they were doing bombing raids off the coast of Syria, and we actually got catapulted off the aircraft carrier. Here I am in my 60s. I'm like, And Chef Irvine's laughing at me, taking video because they experienced this before. I never did. Oh man, it's like it felt like my organs were going to come out of my body. That's getting catapulted. I don't know if you ever experienced that. Did you ever
I have. I've done it. And wow,
you did it too. Oh.
Yeah.
And we're not military. My dad was military, but I was. So I'm just so thankful for everything. Like I said, the last 15 years of my life, you changed it, and now it's full time doing this military, and it's just amazing what you did. And I can't thank you enough. And you're like when I say you're the coolest person, I love you so much. You're like so awesome. But what could the viewers do for the USO? Like a lot of them, a lot of people. Let them know, what does USO stand for, and what can people do? How can people that really care get involved? And
yeah, that's a great question, Jim, because a lot of people, when you say USO, they don't really know what that means. And President Roosevelt created the USO, and it stands for the United Service Organizations. And it was 6 founding organizations that came together to create the USO. And now we are, the USO. And I think that sometimes people just think we're entertainment and don't realize that truly, again, I never thought I would be saying this. We are saving people's lives through some of the programs that we do. And the great news about the USO is we're not just going out in there and saying, hey, let's just do a program for the military. That's not what it's about. We work with the senior enlisted advisors in the military. We work with the generals. We work with the heads of the bases to create the programs which they need on their particular installation. And most of our programs are run by volunteers. We have thousands and thousands of volunteers who run these centers for us and work with our staff. And it's you talk about the pandemic. Oh my goodness. We're working through, how do we start up all these centers, make our volunteers comfortable, who are the life's blood of the USO, are volunteers, people wanting to give back to the military, saying, we care about you. We want you to know we're thinking of you. And this is how they give back. So, we've got our website, our particular one, we're the USO of Metropolitan Washington, Baltimore. And, when you bring Dominic and Chef on, I'm blanking on our hashtag and all that. I'm so bad with the.
Oh no, we'll get that up on the site. On the podcast
Super.
site, we'll have
Okay.
everything, USO links and numbers and everything. Yeah, that's so important. That's so important. But Dominic Cruz and Chef Irvine. I mean, here we are in the middle of nowhere, Guam. In Guam, Guam was like a paradise, all right. But then when we were at Diego Garcia, they had these. I don't know if you've ever been there. They have coconut crabs down there, where they're the reason why they call them coconut crabs is because their claws are like my hands, right? And they could probably take your foot right off.
Yeah.
And I seen one in the middle of the day. It was in a dark room underneath the house, and these 2 eyes staring at you. And then they have donkeys running wild, like we have deer in upstate New York. They have donkeys on.
Oh my gosh!
What an amazing time! And like I said, I experienced this in my 60s, and it's all because of you. And now this is the rest of my life, and I just want to get back and just let's reach as many military and warriors as possible, especially during these weird times right now. People are alone, people are out of work, people are afraid of the COVID, people, and yourself, it's, you want to have some positive stuff to look at. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I have this, and I'm going to teach card tricks, teach memory tricks. I'm going to just teach everybody everything. And instead of having all this negative news all the time,
I know.
Gets to you. So that's what the reason for the podcast. I figured, well, if I can't come to them, I'll come to them virtually. And that's why we did this. But it's because of you. And I would have never been doing anything with the military. I didn't know this existed to this extent. Because of you. You opened my heart, my mind to all of this. And I really, 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 truly appreciate that. And Elaine Rogers is the most awesome woman. You gotta Google her, Elaine Rogers, President CEO USO. You'll see who she is. Go on the USO site. She's the most amazing, amazing, amazing woman. And everybody knows that who knows her. It's just amazing. And I just thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything else you want to say? I mean, well, I could talk to you for hours. We have so many stories. Well, it's like, wow.
Yeah, we do. We could go on and on and on. I think probably bored you enough, but
no, you never bore me. Are you kidding me?
Here's how I feel, Jim. I feel in my life that I am so lucky because I was put in this job for all of these years. And I look at people like you. You, my friend, are the gift that I have given to the military. You are one of my gifts to the military, because I know the people that you have worked with one-on-one. You haven't just come in and done, done the shows and gotten people to think about how they can train their brain, but you've also worked with our wounded warriors and their family members one-on-one. And so that, to me, you are a precious gift that I was able to give, and I get to meet people like you too. So thank you for giving back, Jim, and for your care. Your passion is wonderful, and I love it. And I would think people would look at you, they don't realize how you get into the helping of other people. And that's what this world really, we need to get back to. It's that caring of individual people. And we all can do it. We just need to turn the other bad stuff off and remember there's wonderful, incredible Americans out there helping every day to do good things.
And passion is contagious, and that's where I get my passion from whenever I'm around you. It's amazing. Elaine, thank you, man. You're so awesome. I love you so much. You're so awesome. Unbelievable. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me on, Jim.
Thank you for liking, sharing, and if you really want to superpower your mental strength, subscribe and thrive. Visit us at jimmythebrain.com.